It has come to this. We now need security in market. I blame the viral videos.
Butuan doesn't get talked about nearly enough. Long before Manila or Cebu took center stage, Butuan was already thriving. An ancient kingdom, trading gold and goods with China, India, and the rest of Southeast Asia. It's one of the Philippines' oldest known civilizations, with a maritime culture so advanced that they were building balangay boats that could cross open ocean seas centuries before colonization. This place wasn't just part of history, it helped shape it. In the 1980s, excavations revealed tools and remnants of ingredients, early evidence pointing to the preparation of raw fish, what we now know as Kinilaw. We're going to be eating our way through this historic city, trying some of the best traditional Kinilaw Mindanao has to offer, some of the tastiest lechon you'll ever have, discovering heirloom dishes that are being forgotten by younger generations, and learning about one of the greatest expeditions to happen in the modern Philippines. We start off our exploration deep in the public market. I didn't know what to expect walking in here. It looked fairly quiet and empty from the outside. But was I wrong? A few steps in, an explosion of activity. And being so close to the sea, all signs led to the seafood section. One man stood out, Leo with his iconic red nail polish, his stall, an outpouring of love for his wife, his product, a ready-to-make Kinilaw kit. I never knew I needed one until I saw him. In it, all the local ingredients that make Butuan's iconic Kinilaw. Is this how it was made centuries ago? Who knows, but I'm excited.
So, we are in the market with our friend Leo at a stall called Leo Loves Eva. Every morning may dumating ng Blue Marlyn.
Blue Marlyn, Yellow Pintuna, Bariles.
Oh, Bani's.
From Surigao City.
From Surigao City. Yung tatlo lang. Tapos, nabenta mo Kinilaw lang.
Kinilaw, grilled tuna, yung ihaw.
And how long have you been open? Dito?
Almost 40 years na.
40 years. Pero you're still young. I've actually never seen an in-market Kinilaw store, which is pretty cool. And such pretty technique in terms of slicing it. It's almost like you're slicing a piece of sashimi. So Blue Marlin is chewier than tuna, so there's a special way to cut it to make sure that it's nice and soft. Whereas tuna, okay, got it. So very thin against the grain. This is why I love coming to these places, because it's always really eye-opening in terms of the skill that people have that are applied, and it's kind of like inherent. It's things that are known but not necessarily communicated. But if these techniques were communicated, then you'd have Filipino food kind of made in a very skillful way, for everyone to kind of share in this knowledge. I didn't realize it's kind of this thin. This is actually the first time I've ever seen radish in a kilawin.
Yes, sir.
Bakit yung radish? Konting bitterness, tapos yung texture, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for flavor and texture. Wow! Make it spicy. I like
Yes,
spicy.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tapos ito yung secret sauce mo.
Yes, sir.
May suka. Anong tipong suka?
Sir. Coconut, sir.
Coconut? How long can you keep this? Mixed in? 1 week?
6 months.
6 months? Pero sa fridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So fun fact, I actually made some at home where I blended tabon-tabon with coconut vinegar to see if it's something that you could kind of keep at the house when tabon-tabon is not available. And I love to see it here. It just shows innovation that's rooted in kind of tradition and heritage. If you do it, I'll do it.
Okay.
Fucking heck. He's not even flinching.
This is biasong.
Biasong. Yeah.
Okay, try.
Okay.
Doa.
The freshness of that fish is incredible. The sauce itself, similar to CDO, not too acidic, nice and sweet. Really balanced bite. And the malasumi is so creamy. Sarap. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm dying.
Woo!
I needed to cool down and heard of some sweet kakanin not far away. Leo accompanied me and said I had to try first their hotcakes. I know what you're thinking, but these are an institution here. There used to be 5 vendors, most of them have left, but Nang Isang has been here since 1984. Yellow-hued batter is placed in stovetop griddles to make these thin, margarine-drenched delights.
My mouth is absolutely burning, so this is a good cheers. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is a good start. Ah, better. Now it's cooling down. Yeah. We have calamay, biko. Very good. Yummy. Yes. And some biko. I'm buying time, guys, because my mouth is on fire. But this is helping a lot. It has come to this. We now need security in market. I blame the viral videos. Morning.
Morning, sir.
So what's your specialty?
Palagsing.
And that's a Butuanon specialty. And how do you make it? What's inside?
Palagsing unaw.
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 Okay. So walang kanin dito. Unaw lang. Okay. Very nice. It has like a vegetable flavor. Morning. Is this where you buy usually?
Yes.
What's your favorite here?
Sir, sa
That's
lahat.
your favorite?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You
Wala.
know to speak Tagalog already?
I'm a half, but I don't speak very well. So I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn. Sorry?
You're from
Manila. No. Manila.
Manila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Can I try it since she mentioned your cassava cake? Can I try your cassava cake?
Pwede.
Cassava cake is always gonna be one of my favorites. So. Very nice also. Yeah.
I really wanted to come to this market to try something made with unaw. The term unaw refers to a sago palm, specifically the lumgas starch, extracted from the palm tree. It's a key ingredient in various traditional dishes in the Philippines, like palagsing, a suman-like treat. The sago palm is a hardy plant that thrives in swampy and peat soils, and it's known for its starch-rich pith. Not surprising, since Butuan is the gateway to the Agusan marshlands.
Pagluto sa palagsing, mag-ayag ka sa unaw. Magkudkod ka sa buko. At saka, lagyan mo ng asukal, i-mix mo. Iputos, ibalot sa dahon. Pagkatapos isaing na kaagad. Mga 30 minutes or 45 minutes luto na yan.
While unaw is best known for its use in palagsing, it was also used as a source of starch for savory dishes, but these aren't easy to find anymore. I'm always so encouraged by people like Erlinda and Marlyn. They run the much-loved Proudly Butuanon restaurant Natad Olympia. It is one of the most striking restaurants in the country. Built on a land that has been in their family since they can remember, it's an ode to local culture and a simpler time. As you can tell, she's a collector. In her house, like her restaurant, hundreds of curiosities, chaotically curated. It feels raw, organic, and inspired. She grew up in this area, one of the oldest neighborhoods in Butuan, and she remembers her parents getting heirloom ingredients from the backyard for their everyday nourishment. That is no longer the case, she laments. But that doesn't stop her from teaching the younger generation, as well as tourists, about the forgotten dishes of Butuan. In our spread, we have the most famous local dish, crab bunta. Fresh crab is stuffed with its own meat, aromatics, pandan, coconut meat, and milk. Next, we have pavo, a local root crop that is now a new personal favorite. Similar in texture to a kamote, it's served to be dipped in a thick cocoa caramel, locally called latik. The unaw we tried a while ago is different here. It's used to make a fish cake-like dish. It is so addictive, I had more than 6 pieces. I couldn't get enough.
Ako si Marlyn Ruiz. taga-bansa. Yung Olympia, Natad ni Olympia is backyard. Sa mama ko yan. So that time na pandemic time, doon ko na-realize na sayang naman yung delicacy sa Butuan. Parang nawawala na. Maski yung dialect, wala na. So sabi ko, umpisahan ko kaya. Nag-pick up naman sa tulong ng mga tao sa surroundings at saka yung mga friends, mga relatives, o yung mga balikbayans, parang namimiss nila. Doon ko na-realize na may market pala. Kasi wala na eh. Parang nawala na yung mga pao, pinutol na nila, yung mga kayam na mga trees, yun ang mga delicacy sa Butuan. Tapos nawala na kasi pinutol na nila, ginawang lumber. So what I did, pagpunta ko doon sa sa lugar sa Natad, sabi ko kasayang naman tinitingnan ako parang ginawang basura na lang ng mga tao. Doon na pag-isipan ko na nga ayusin ko kaya. Masaya ako kasi na feel ko na ngayon na at least nakilala na nila yon. Oo. Gusto ko mabalik yung mga Butuanong delicacies, tapos sana yung Butuan merong tatak Butuan na delicacy. Tapos babalik sana yung dialect kasi parang nawawala na.
So where do we start?
Actually sa among diri mag-serve mi una pa with latik. It's a root crop.
Okay.
Yun oh. Yan.
Ito?
Yan. May dahon
mga
na hard.
dahon. Okay.
Yun ang dahon.
Okay, yeah, so it's chewier than gabi.
Than gabi.
Yeah.
Parang medyo matigas siya.
Yeah, more dense than sweet potatoes.
Noon, parang substitute namin sa rice.
And so your concept here was to use the ingredients that are around you.
Yes,
Okay.
Kung anong available sa paligid
Dito.
lang namin.
And what do you remember eating when you were a kid?
Pau. Tapos yung palagsing, minsan doon sa river, na mingwit, doon kami nagkuha ng isda namin. Tapos minsan, merong alimango.
Pero yung mga young people, are they still interested in this kind of food or?
Kasi hindi na nila, hindi na nila na alam, hindi
No
na
one's
nila
teaching it.
wala na.
Okay.
Pero yung mga balikbayan, nandito.
So they
Pag
know. Okay.
pag uwi nila dito sa Butuan, nagustuhan nila, parang mamimiss nila.
So after this, where do we go next?
Davao.
Davao. So bakit Davao? Galing Davao or hindi?
Hindi.
Nasunod namin sa mga katandaan yung pangalan Davao.
Davao, oo.
Pero walang isda dito, no? Walang crab?
Wala. Ano lang,
Unaw
onion.
flour.
Unaw flour, young coconut, konting sugar. Yun lang.
Sobrang sarap.
Parang
It tastes like a shrimp or fish cake.
yes.
Yeah.
Ulam
Usually
yan.
may sasawan ito or ganito lang? Mga
Sausaw mo
suka.
ng latik.
Really?
Latik or pwede ring yung suka.
Why is latik being used for savory food? I love it.
Suka.
Yeah, so for anyone watching, the flavor is really like a fish shrimp cake and pero it's just the unaw. Wow. Okay, next. What do we have? Ito muna? Mga sardines?
Sardines. Sige, sardines. Itong sardines pwede din itong isabay sa pao.
So yung mga sardines ganito, traditional pa rin sa Butuan?
Yes, Inagon-on yun noon.
Okay. So
Inagon-on.
and then this is?
Banisel. Galing sa fish pan. Nasa lang, unahan ng dito.
Here lang.
Meron.
May cleaning process to? You have to leave it in water with salt?
Laming for 3 days.
Okay, yeah. Soak it.
Soak with water.
With water.
Para maglabas yung kinain
Yung mud.
niya, yung mud.
So I just suck on this?
Sige.
Sa Zamboanga, it's called chupaculo,
Chupakulo.
which means to suck puwet.
Puwet.
Yeah.
Chupakulo. Chupakulo. Sige. Tapos pag hindi maglabas, okay na, naglabas na.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's good. It has earthy, very
Yes,
earthy flavor.
oo.
So ito sa mud lang, fresh water.
Fresh water.
Fish
Fish
ponds.
pond, yung brackish.
Brackish water.
Brackish
Yeah,
water.
that's why it's medyo may parang saltiness also to
Yes,
it. Yeah.
yes. Brackish.
And then with the kangkong. Anong sasawan to?
Chili.
Oh, the color is so cool. I thought it was a royal true orange. And then just chicken. Wow.
Niyog.
Today it's gonna be
Suka, vinegar.
It's just gonna be that day. Okay, ito
Medyo
yung
matamis.
star.
Ah.
So how do we eat this? How do you cook this?
Ano pa yun? Sa buhay pa, buksan mo yung niya. Takip. Tapos,
Linisin.
kunin mo yung
Linisin lahat.
mga kinain-kain niya, yung mga dumi-dumi na sa ilalim.
Okay.
Tapos, mag-ano kami ng young coconut. May mga sibuyas, bawang,
Okay.
aligi.
And yung
Yung
aligi.
taba niya, hinahalo namin.
You mix everything.
I-mix sa
Tapos stuff it
young
back in.
coconut. Tapos binalik namin sa iyang takip niya, yun, tinalik namin.
Okay.
May gata.
Ito, ano,
sobra.
ano to? Tanglad? Or-
Tanglad po.
Tanglad.
Tinali namin yung
Lemongrass.
tanglad.
Tanglad.
Okay.
Para mabango-bango naman.
Nice.
Tapos,
And then
ito.
Yun,
So,
yung
sobra.
natira ng nilagay namin sa loob, binalot namin ng dahon.
Oh, yung tira.
kung may
yung tira.
extra.
Oo.
Extra.
So I'll try this first. So do you dip this here? No.
Hindi na.
Hindi na.
Ito, pwede rin yung ilagay sa kanin. Yun talaga sa amin noon.
And how long do you cook this? Kasi medyo oily na yung coconut, no?
Oo, oily ng
So
coconut.
long time or?
No, mga siguro 1 hour.
Just 1 hour.
Oh,
Okay.
just 1
Okay.
hour. Oo. Pero ang prepare, mga siguro, ang preparation plus cooking is mga 2 to 3 hours.
Because of the,
Yes.
especially
oo,
getting all the
oo,
meats. Let's give this a try. Very good. So ito, nyog lang, tapos sibuyas,
Sibuyas,
bawang,
Bawang at saka
chili.
oo.
luya.
Oo. Basic lang talaga.
Mm.
Oo, basic cooking lang.
And then we have the
Kusilba, sa Butuanon is pangiluod. Oh, parang dessert.
dessert. Okay.
Oo.
And ito, yung
Palagsing.
dessert
Oo.
pa rin.
Oo, dessert pa
Okay.
rin. Pwedeng dessert, pwedeng pang snack.
So ito, ganito lang.
Ganyan lang. Oo. Parang, ano.
Bakit medyo smoky?
Kasi sa pagluto natin doon man sa kahoy.
Yeah, you can
Oo.
taste it. Very
Oo,
nice.
Oo.
So ito, nag-dip kayo sa latik pa rin or hindi?
Pwede
Ganito
rin.
lang, Pwede rin.
Oo.
I love these. And I'm sure yung unaw is healthier than rice.
Yes. Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Healthy. Oo,
Healthy
mas
kasi
healthy. Oo.
Complex carbohydrates.
Noon kami, yun lang ang kinakain namin.
Yeah, because it's very special.
Ito po, yun.
Okay.
Oo.
Thank you.
Yun na, pari-pariho lang sila ng laman. Yung ganon. Oo.
Salamat. My dream is always for someone to crack my crab for me. Thank you. And I think people are looking for this now.
Yes. Oo.
Back to your roots,
Yun.
back to what your parents used to eat.
Yes.
It's delicious. Thank you very much.
One of our most pre-colonial practices is making alcohol. When Pigafetta wrote of his first encounters with Filipinos in the 1500s, he always mentions palm wine. We have a rich culture of harvesting various palms for different uses, from food to building materials. But one of the most ancient uses we have for the different varieties of palms across the archipelago is alcohol.
Long before colonizers arrived, Filipinos had already discovered the ambrosial delight of traditional fermented spirits. Tagayan or social drinking has long been a cherished cultural practice, strengthening community bonds and preserving age-old craftsmanship. Each province boasts its own drink of choice. Laksoy has been a staple in Tagayans and Inumans across eastern Mindanao, the Visayas, Bicol, and southern Luzon, known by different names in each region. Early references appear in Antonio Pigafetta's Primo Vaggio in Torno al Mondo, where he describes Magellan and his crew being offered palm wine. The 1668 book Historia de las Islas e Indios de Visayas by Francisco Ignacio Alsina also notes Laksoy as the first and strongest extract from nipa palm. On a recent trip to Butuan, we documented the meticulous process of making Laksoy, honoring the cultural heritage it represents, the craftsmanship behind it, and the livelihood it sustains.
Ako si Gaspar Añasco, taga Babag, Butuan City. Istar ako nga ni Purok Dos. Kuha na kang edad na ako doon, 58. Mga, kuha na, mga 50 years na. Kaya 15 anyos ako ga, antigo na kumuhin ng Laksoy. Yaon, memory na ako sa kay ako sa una ga mag-iban akong katatay pagpananggot. Amo mangahoy kami, maghimo kami laksoy. Antol nga kiko lang ko gid nga amo to ni ang paghimong laksoy. Ako maghimo na ako na lang isa. Amoy kono namo itong yadto pa to ang sangkutan namo ato pataw to. Ang ton-ana namo yadto pa. Ato nang balhin kami ngani. Amo lagi hapon nga kuan kay ang trabaho ginikanan nako sa una, amo ganyan siya, mananggot, magtuna, maghimo og laksoy. Ito sir ito. Sad.
Ano po tawag dyan?
Sad. Sad ang tawag namin dito.
Saan po ginagamit?
Sa pag-harvest ng nipa. Ito, buta. Mga kuan, 15 anyos, antigo na ako mo inom-inom. Kuan, makaisugit siya pang di na ako madahong ginahawaan ako, pero kadugayan ako sige inom-inom kay apil na ba kong inom-inom. Okay na. Lami na siya para kanako.
Nakaka-harvest po kayo sa isang araw.
Kuan, mga depende sa ano sir, depende sa yung
Ilang litro sa tingin mo?
madami siguro mga apat na ito. Apat, tatlo. Yun. Ang una yung kuan mga dili pa sa manila siyang kuan pikpik, di na mo nga magbuwak na. Unya pag kuan na siya kanang di na makabuan, ini na ang resulta niya. Ini na siya kamo, ini siya. Di kuan na mo ini gihilot na mo. Pwede pa. Massage, pwede massage pa. Oh, yang lang to.
Sipain.
Kamo kuan ng pisak.
Oh.
Ito sir.
Para palambot.
Oh. Para sa kuan yang para mo kuan dito siya. O pahumok wala murag smooth siya ba. Pag 8 na kabuan, 8 na kabuan. Ini na siya. Ini na siya ang kuan ano. Ang po na utlon ta. Kamong utlon dai namin siya utlon. Oh.
Lang kapay. Oh. Yan. Ang tulo na.
Oh. O pagkaugma, butangan na mong kuan, sahod, sugong. Yan na ang tuba. Tuba na siya. Kuan, mayumo-yumo, matamis-tamis. Katapos niyan, yung ito lang kuan, ito lang sahod na mo. Ang kay, ano na kay, oo. Hindi doon, mukawa na ko sa dito ba? Kay mananggot na ko. Ang tawag sa niya, mananggot na. Kamo, abisan siya, abisan. Oo, hindi na. Ganun lang. Hindi lang siya, kamo. Atol nga, kuhaw na ko ni tanan. Kamu dadon nga tutunan. Yan pa. Targa na. Apil itong imo bay. Oh, itong gay na, itong mikita itong tuba, nagibot itong gikan pag pananggot na to. Kamo ang tuba ibutang na ang ani, istak na ho mga tulo ka adlaw. Adi sir, ibutang siya ngani para himuon nga laksoy. kilala na siya tanan. Labi na doon nga panahon kay yaw na yung mga yang social media, yang ini mga parahan ni vlog. Kilala na gid siya kadiyaw. Gikan pa sa una ilado na ining Butuan ngayon Laksoy. Kay yaw yung mga umpra kanamo sa una nga taga Surigao. Ang iban mohatod ngadto bukid-bukid ngadto yang mga ato Davao. Mukadto yay magdagan to Manila. Ngay Cebu yay magada. Mobili sila ngani ang mukadto bakasyon ngadto mobili dalo nila ngadto kanila. Ini siya pwede na siya tunon kay kuan na siya kaadlaw. Tulo na. Pwede na siya himuon nga Laksoy. Hinangon sa Laksoy ni siya. Kamo guligawon kay ang lagudhan ni siya milugdang ato lawom. Guligawon ni siya parang magsagol sila tanan. Apil ang kuan tung lagud. Tulo ka para sa ni nga kuan. Amoy ibutang ato. Pisak pa sa ni. Hindi siya stig. Wala kay ang mga lupa nga ni sa ang mga lupa namo gisanggutan namo sa una, sanggutan nila na ang iban gipamaligya, gihimo nga pispan. Kamo wala say mosunod ka namo nga mga pananggot magahimo ang Laksoy. Kay ang mga bata namo, mga anak namo, di na ba sila mohimo sa ni kay kapoy ba nga trabaho. Yan, ga-eskwela sila.
After draining the previous batch, a handful of molded soil will be placed on the end of a piece of wood that will help store the nipa juice. Once secured, the fermented nipa juice will be poured into the sandayong. A basin filled with water is placed to cover the sandayong. This will help steam the juice to make laksoy.
Pagtakahoy, parang okay. Di bitong halingay ko. Ini. Ayun na. Itong gisod taga ina nga tuba nga to. Gihalingan siya kamo pag bukal ang tuba, pag mubukal ang tuba, itong kawa nga gibutang dito nga yoy tubig. Mo singot siya, mo huwas. Kamo itong huwas niya, yan ba itong kita na to kaina nga yoy kuan nga ni. Itong sandayong. Muaga siya nga ni, muagi lang siya nga ni. Saldon na mo sa ni. Ngayon, tugon-tugon siguro. Mga 20 minutes pa siguro ay hamo to. Kailangan na to kung mo to na siya, kay ini siya, maso. Gayong mo gawas nga, kuan. Maso siya ka mo, to lang siya nga ni.
Pagdating ng Laksoy na.
O, Laksoy na. Lalakas yan yung ngayon, kuan. Dahil ba init na at saka dito ang kuan pagkalahati na siya. Kalahati na siyang galon, palitan ng tubig ang kawa para malamig siya. Ito. Hose. May bugag kami nga mawain ni siya kay wala na ba musulod ka namo. Ang mga bata wala na ba? Wala na minanggot. Wala na sila, wala sexual sila, graduate na, gatrabaho na, yung mga anak sa nila, wala na. Kami na lang bibili nga ni kay kami wa ba kami mag-eskwela hung tarong. Ya kami daw nga yan kami nga ni. Gahinang kami sa ning Laksoy. Lahat ng ito first nga galon. Lagyan na ng tester 100 plus ang prop niya. Ito lang. Oo, walang ibang trabaho. Wala yung trabaho na mo ini. Kontento kami sa ni. Kay makabugas sa kami, makakaon. Oo, proud kami. Labi na doon. Doon nga panahon kay murang ilado na gid kami nga amo ang Laksoy nyo nga ni babag. Yaw na mo kani nga mga estranyo, mga pariner, kani nga ni. Kana mo. Mo ato lang sila daw pag unang pag-imong Laksoy kamo tilaw sab.
Though interest in Laksoy wanes, Apang's quiet devotion endures, a testament to protecting not just the livelihood, but a heritage deeply rooted in the Butuan identity.
That was such a fun experience. I always love conversing and meeting people who are so passionate about what they do, but also think about the bigger picture. It's so cool to see kind of heirloom ingredients and techniques being taught and being preserved. Right now, we're in a very, we're not too far from the city center, but it feels completely different because it's low housing. The architecture is kind of very traditional. The sun is shining, yet it's pouring a little bit, which is awesome. My favorite type of weather.
We're on our way to a house that invited us to see how a traditional dish using banana trunk is made.
And they're making a shrimp and a chicken version. I'm super excited. Should be here somewhere.
Ito ang delicacy sa Butuan, Bani. Pagkain ito ng baboy sa una At na-discover nila nga, pwede pala sa tao. Okay. Wala kaming pera, wala kaming choice. Kain kami nito. Ibutang na nato sa kaldero aron atong lataan. Ang kanitanan nga manok. Bisaya ni nga manok. Tapos, ilagay ito itong ikaduha nga gata o kaduha nga piga. So, ato sa ning pabukalon. Para mahumok-humok siya. Una dani nato ibutang ning kuan. Takluban sa nato para mabukal. Ato nang ibutang ang mga panakot. Ito, lemongrass, kamatis, sibuyas, luya, sibuyas dahon. Butangan po nato asin. Tatay ko po, mahilig yung magluto. Ako naman, chismosa ba? Madi, palaging tumitingin. Lagyan ng bitchin. Remutin muna natin, o takpan. Okay. Marami nang luto nito, yung mga Butuanon. Galing sa po. Ngayon, wala na to sa karinderya. Sa mga lang, mag-order lang. Abrihan na to. Panahon na to daw. Nagkuhanan, magbukal. Na atong i-mix. Tapos takpan uli para mulambot yung bani. Takpan uli.
Okay.
Ang pogi mo, sir.
Yes, salamat. Ano pong name to?
Bani na may heavy.
Okay, I'll try.
Puso ng ubo ng saging.
Ito, Butuanon traditional recipe talaga.
Opo.
What it comes down to is resourcefulness in locality and resourcefulness in using kind of these things like trunks, banana, pith, all ingredients that most people would kind of find strange and not necessarily try. That flavored with whatever's grown locally and kind of just shows the ingenuity that our heritage cuisine has.
Sige po.
I always wonder how many more dishes there are that we will never know about. Having gone to most of the provinces in the country, I'm always surprised by the richness of our cuisine. But most of it is found in households, and if not documented or passed down, these may never be appreciated by the whole nation. Nanay was the mother of Maan, who was our generous guide for the day, making sure that we saw the best of her city. She also has her own restaurant, but we have to wait for the sun to come down before going there. While we are on the subject of families, remember our favorite fishmonger, red nail polish Kinilaw cook Leo? His son-in-law runs a sister business called Baron's. Here, Sutukil, the tradition of fish served three ways, tuwa or soup, kilaw or cured, and sugba or grilled. For these dishes to stand the test of time, tradition is important, but so is innovation.
I'm Jason Galero. I'm the owner of Baron's, Sugba, Kinilaw, and Barbecue. We started this business in January 28 of 2010. The name Baron's, I got it from the name of my eldest son, Baron. Then my father-in-law known as the Kinilaw King, Mr. Leo Calub. So I got the idea of putting up this restaurant because it just so happened also that the supply is freshly cut from Mr. Leo Calub, from my father-in-law. What makes Baron special is we cut our own fish when it arrives directly from the fisherman. The best seller here is the Kinilaw. Yung Kinilaw namin, when it comes to the sourness of the vinegar, I can say it's on the mild side kasi yung fish namin hindi naluluto dun sa Kinilaw. Not too sour, still you can taste the sweetness and you can taste the flavor of the fish. And then we mix it with our liempo, so Sinogdao is also one of the best. And then we also have the spicy paksiw. What makes the spicy paksiw special is we cook it in our own vinegar that we made from the nipa tree and the adobo squid rice. We just cook our squid adobo style the way we do it, and then we just saute it with the rice. The tinola naman, of course, you always make sure that you have the tanglad, and then ginger, the tomatoes, and then what brings out the best flavor of the tinola is the freshness of the fish. We always make sure number one quality comes first. That's why pabalik-balik yung mga customers eh.
The Agusan River is the lifeblood of northeastern Mindanao, and it has been for thousands of years. Stretching over 350 kilometers, it's the third longest river in the Philippines and runs right through Butuan, emptying into the Butuan Bay. More than just a geographical feature, it was the ancient trade highway of the region. Pre-colonial communities used it to move goods, people, and culture between the highlands and the sea. The balangays that made Butuan famous, they were launched from this river. But the Agusan River is more than history. It's an ecosystem and a cultural backbone. It feeds the Agusan Marsh, a biodiverse wetlands that's home to rare wildlife and entire communities of indigenous people who live in floating houses. It's also the site of legends, rituals, and ancestral ties that continue to define the identity of the Agusanons. A decade ago, a group of modern-day adventurers, historians, and boat builders set out on a bold expedition to rebuild the balangays and sail them across Southeast Asia, retracing the maritime routes that pre-colonial Filipinos once took. The team, led by organizer of the first Philippine expedition to climb Mount Everest, Art Valdez, used traditional techniques to construct the boats by hand, without nails, following ancient blueprints. These weren't replicas for a museum. They were sea-ready vessels built to prove a point that long before Magellan, Filipinos were already expert seafarers, navigating open waters using the sun, stars, wind, and waves. It was more than a sailing expedition, it was a cultural reawakening. Along the way, they connected with Austronesian-speaking communities and indigenous people who shared similar boat-building and navigational traditions.
Crazy to think that like centuries ago, this is what people would use. And I mean, I've been to Tawi-Tawi and the boats are very similar to this in shape and they still actually use them, which is really cool to see. So I do come from a province in France where they're big boat builders, but I think the last time I went sailing was in Zambales and I almost went away and I had to get rescued.
The oldest balangay boat was discovered in Butuan. That's around 1976. And then when they carbon date the boat, it goes around 4th century.
Wow. This was a boat in ruins.
Yes,
Yeah,
the boat that was first discovered
Okay.
in Libertad. There's also a shrine next to the dig site.
Yeah.
But they found that that boat was actually was sailing around 4th century.
Wow.
So it's even older than the Vikings.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nobody
No one talks
knows
about
that. No one talks about it. So
Right.
it's kind of sad. That's also when the Balangay boat was included in the official seal of Butuan. The first boat was actually built in Manila, and then they sailed it all the way
Wow.
through Butuan without engines.
Just by sail.
Yeah, by sail.
Amazing.
And then they built the other two here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are all those boats now?
So the voyage was actually 1 year and 9 months, something.
Oh wow.
And then after that voyage, our goal is actually to reach China because that's where the ancient trade routes is, from Southeast Asia all the way to China. But then it was captured because of political issues. So we stopped in Cambodia and then sailed back. And then after that, the first boat was donated in National Museum in Manila.
Yeah.
And the second boat was donated here.
Just across to where the boats are being kept, the Banza church ruins sit on the site of Butuan's oldest poblacion, where Recollect friars built a stone church in 1625. Burnt down by Moro pirates in 1753, only the bell tower remains, now partly swallowed by a massive balete tree. It stands today as the oldest stone church ruin in Mindanao, a powerful symbol of Butuan's colonial past and enduring spirit.
For 200 years, the Pueblo of Butuan and the church were located in these grounds, which is why this kind of ruins is a tourism spot that people can check out. I do feel like sometimes when we kind of travel around the Philippines, we don't have a lot of kind of historical monuments, and obviously this is not a massive one, but it is an important one in terms of what it signifies and what it represents, basically. And Butuan, because of where it's situated, obviously, and kind of different waves of religions that try to take over, especially when the Spanish were here, there was a big tug and pull between the Catholics and the Christians versus the Moros that were trying to kind of take a stronghold of this area. Because anything usually that has access to river and to sea, is a really strong trading post, and that's why a lot of people want to economically be able to kind of manage those areas, so it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, before coming here today, all of this was actually new to me, so it's always good to kind of get these nuggets of history as you kind of travel, and helps you digest all the food that you've been having. This is the particularly interesting area, and really cool, if you ask me, is one of the original church beams that you'll find is actually kind of in the tree here, so you can kind of have a look inside and peek through it. It's cool that this piece of history is kind of just like buried and has been taken over by nature, but it's still there, right? It still remains there.
Many provinces claim to have the best lechon, and honestly, it's impossible to say who does it best, but it's always refreshing to see a different take on lechon. I've had this dish in many different ways all over the country, and I can say that Orbita's is actually quite unique. They don't add too much to it, and actually don't really recommend trying it with sauce. They want all their guests to first taste the dish for what it is, because yes, it's that good.
Yung breeding dito pa rin?
Galing sa Bukidnon, may sa Pagadian. Mga 17 kilos.
Pero may fattening pa dito? Fattening growing?
Wala,
na?
wala.
Wala na, okay.
Dahil sa ASF, lahat ng baboy dito sa Agusan, ubos lahat sa Bukidnon.
Okay. So how long do you keep the pigs here?
1 week.
Once you kill it, how long between killing and cooking?
3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours lang. Okay.
Like this, ito.
Ano yung timpla inside?
Ano lang, yung lemongrass, sibuyas na dahon, pepper. Yun lang. Simple lang, asin. Dahil dito sa Butuan, iba-iba kasi panlasa. Basta may lemongrass, okay na.
Okay na yan. And how long does it take to cook?
2 hours.
2 hours to cook. Okay.
Preparation, 1 hour.
Yeah.
I'm Cierlita Orbita, one of the owner of Orbita's Lechon House. So, sa amin dito sa Orbita's Lechon House, hindi mo na kailangan ng sarsa. Kaya sumasarap yung lechon dahil naiinin. Yung luto niya, the same ang init sa pagkain ng Butuanon. Ang ano ko is, we can offer the lechon talaga. Yun ang inaano ng mga taga Maynila. Even sa taga Davao, talagang dito sila sa Orbita's Lechon House pumupunta. Nakaka-proud talaga. Siyempre, taga-ibang lugar Di ba? Dinadayo na kami, kahit foreigner.
Obviously, the star of the show is their lechon. I've never been to a lechon spot where you could see a couple pigs roaming around in a pen right in front, which at least shows you that it's nice and fresh. So apparently the lechon is really flavorful, that you don't need suka or vinegar, just a bit of calamansi and some more chilies. We are in northeastern Mindanao, and obviously, as you know, chilies are rampant here, which are one of my favorite things. Let's try this. They gave us some extra skin too. That crunchy skin kind of has like that perfect caramelized exterior with just the inner, not the meat part, but kind of like where the meat and the fat meet. You have the right the right amount of meat there. These chilies are crazy. Woo. Let's try the meat itself. Very soft, very tasty, very tender. You could tell that years of experience have gone into this. So in my very controversial view, there should only be one type of chicharron, and that's chicharron with laman. I'm not a fan when it's just skin. With the laman, just makes it such a more unique bite. Oh, that's delicious. I can feel my arteries getting clogged up with happiness. Right? Very clean. Some bits of the intestine in there as well. Gingery, nice and bright. Clots of blood in there. That's nice. Let's try the nilagang pata. If you're looking for pork on pork, this is the place to be.
The sun is starting to come down and a crowd is slowly gathering along the banks of the river. Destination, more food. The karaoke is starting, plastic chairs and tables are being spread out close to the water, the fairy lights are strung and turned on, and this food market is ready to go. None of this would be here without the hard work of our gracious guide, Maan. What started out as a small stall opened at night after their day-to-day jobs turned into a community affair that brought back some energy to the nightlife in the city. The food served is honest, well-made, and could make me crave for a couple of ice-cold beers.
So how long have you guys had this place?
I think it's 3 years, but we started before the pandemic, and then we stopped during the pandemic time. The operation started Friday and Saturday because we also have our jobs.
Yeah, so mostly at nights lang.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's,
But there was no one else?
No one else.
So this was literally
just us.
The river, the road,
and
then
then
you
the
guys.
tent. We actually started with our pork liampo, pecho, and
Pork barbecue.
the boneless bangus. The ingredients was passed over by his uncle.
Because now at least you have a...
It's actually a
feels like
good thing for
right?
the barangay
Correct.
and the Butuan itself.
Yeah.
Because those who were coming from the other cities, they actually come here.
You want to hang
because,
out here. And how's your kilaw prepared?
Yung kinilaw namin, sir, nilalagyan lang namin yan ng gatas. Yung
Okay.
ibap nila ng gata. Pero sa amin, ibap lang yung gama.
Okay. Nice, so this is more mild. Pero may anong suka dito?
It's called tuba.
Yeah. Ito tuna, no?
That's bariles.
Bariles. So the small...
The small tuna.
Small tunas, okay. So this is your bangos.
Yeah.
Bangos, pinaputok na bangos, sir.
This is very good. That gives it a really nice flavor. So when you have friends coming to Butuan, where do you recommend that they go eat most of the time?
Wiggles.
So Wiggles, okay.
Yeah. Because you haven't been to Butuan if you haven't
Been to
Wiggles.
Wiggles. Really? Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so we need to go to Wiggles now, I guess.
Correct.
We always listen to local recommendations, so to celebrate the end of a successful shoot, we went to Wiggles. The live band was playing some of our favorites, the food came out quick, and made all of us really happy.
I love coming to places like this because it's the perfect example where culture needs to be found between the lines. You know, we don't benefit from a culture or history that's in your face in like places in Europe where you have really kind of ancient architecture and ruins. We have remnants of that in different places, but culture in the Philippines has to be assumed and seen in our dishes, in the things that we've preserved in our heritage. So it's so great to kind of meet people who are standing firmly in their beliefs that what we have is special and that we should work with the ingredients that we have. We should work with what we have left to kind of redefine what our view of Filipino culture is and how we can present it internationally as well. Because when you start digging, you really do find a lot of special nuggets that when put together really create such a magnificent and beautiful country and culture.